So, as you can hear, we are at Stansted Airport in X-Plane 12. We're going to be flying the ToLiss Airbus A320 from Stansted over to Frankfurt in Germany. So if anybody's been wondering what the big fuss is about with the ToLiss Airbuses, you're going to find out this evening. So let's go and jump inside the aeroplane. As you can see, we are cold and dark, and the rain is persisting down outside. So we're going to go and look up overhead and go and turn the batteries on at least. And put the external power on. The aeroplane will start booting up around us. Let's go and check the volume levels so you get to hear everything I hear along the way, which will be quite useful, I think. Actually, no, because we're going to have sound tensions on as well, and we don't want it to drown everything out. Okay, just before we get going, I'm going to check that my controls are working. So let's get the throttles into the right place. Yep, the detents are correct, and the flap lever works, and the spoilers are working. Okay, so while we're waiting for things to get ready, we'll go and do some planning with the aeroplane and have a look at some of the things we can do. So obviously this is the load system. I do believe this has Simbrief information, so therefore we should be able to go and put our Simbrief identity in. So I think it's 330725, I'll just double check that. 330725. So let's try this and see what happens. Not tried this before. Oh, that would imply it wants my username if it's given me the alphabet. We'll try. Okay, it wants the other one. Why would it bother giving you why would it bother giving you the alphabet if it's not actually wanting it? There we go. So, ignore AirRack type mismatch off. We'll turn that on. Set payload and fuel to Simbrief on. Always use Simbrief wins. No, we'll go with what we've got. Save preferences and default values. Actually, no, I'm going to leave that as it is. Anyway, so we'll find out what that does. So if we go into loading information, presumably that will have pulled the information through for us. Anyway, we're not going to worry too much about that. So we can obviously go into here and go into the weight and balance section. Let's go and see what we've got in our Simbrief plan. It's going to be different, isn't it? 154 passengers. So let's go and make this at least make some sense. Can we? Yeah, we can type in here, look. Or we should be able to. And we've got cargo freight, 16,000 kilograms. baggage 3,000, so about 19,800 for our purposes. That's interesting though, look at that one, and you go up to, so is it in a different, oh, it's fore and aft, okay, we don't get to split that from Simbrief, that's a shame. We'd have to go and look at the operational flight plan. We'll just give ourselves some weight for the moment. So fuel on board, block fuel 5313. So we've got way more than we need. We'll give ourselves a bit of margin, yeah? And there we go. Takeoff performance, not computed yet, so we can go and work that out as well, but we can get that from the MCDU, so it will come through onto here as we program things in. Okay, so let's go and start the Airbus up as we normally would. So if you know how the Airbuses work, this is all going to be fairly straightforward actually. So strobes go to auto, beacon not on yet, nav can go to 1, seatbelts can go to on, the emergency exit lights can go to armed. We've got the dome on dim at the moment, that's fine. So everything else around here is looking absolutely fine. So we've got the systems up. Let's go and turn the ADIRs on. And we've got ADIRs IRS alignment. So let's go and turn the brightness of the screens up before we go any further. Looking better. Okay, so while we're sat here, we'll go and talk to clearance. Minimize that out of the way. So we are virtual 073 today. Stansted clearance, virtual 073, requesting clearance to Frankfurt. Now, I haven't given them information. Let's see what they come back with. It's a bad habit of mine to not find out the information first. You can turn the strictness up, or the level of strictness with say intentions, so they won't stand for missing pieces of the jigsaw.
073, cleared to Frankfurt via the Detling 2 Delta departure. Departure runway 04. Initial climb to 4,000 feet. Departure on 120.625 squawk 5527.
Clear to Frankfurt via the Detling 2 Delta departure, departure runway 04, initial climb 4,000 feet, departure 120.625, squawk 5527, virtual 073. So, squawk 5527, let's go do that straight away. And we
virtual
can...
073, read back correct. Contact ground on 121.73.
5527, and yeah, we're not going to talk to departures just yet. Initial climb 4,000 feet, and we'll remember the
Sunset clearance. Good day. Ryanair 10 Lima request CFR clearance to Lisbon. Information Bravo.
That's interesting. Look, with
clearance on request. Stand by.
We can't move this around
Sunset
easily.
clearance. Good day. Ryanair to Juliet request CFR clearance to Barcelona. Information Delta.
I'm just sorting the keys
One
out.
second while I grab the paperwork.
There we go. That will allow us to move around easily. It's very, very different key mappings to Flight Simulator. Okay, so the target altitude needs to be 4,000 feet. That's that done. And we'll go and set the heading to the runway departure direction. It's 40, isn't it? 44, I think. Well, it'll be 42, won't it? Because it's 222 the other direction. we can go and, well, we'll come to this later. We're going to get the flight plan programmed in first. So go to init. We're going from, we'll do this by hand just to see how well simulated it is. So EGSS to, go and have a look, EGSS through to EDDF. Okay, flight number is going to be VFA073. Cost index is going to be 46. Cruise flight level 35,000 feet. I don't think there's any changes en route. It's not a very long flight anyway. 350. That calculates the temp for us. If we go into IRS initialization, you'll see that's all aligning as we speak. So if we go into wind, we can do a wind request and that will fetch the data. And then we can go next phase, or wind request. He says famous last words. Okay, maybe that's not going to do the descent wind. So if we go into the flight plan page, then we can go, oh, we've got to put the routing in, haven't we? Forgot about that. So we go sideways out of here. We need to put the block fuel in, so we need to look that up. So weight and balance. Where are we? Block fuel 5,900.
Stansted clearance. Good morning, Rainer. 4 Lima Bravo on send 42 Romeo with information hotel. Request IFR clearance to Echo Delta Delta
It's
Whiskey.
interesting, actually. If we set to
One
current,
second while I grab the paperwork.
yeah, it's going to reset that back out, isn't it?
Stansted delivery, good
So
afternoon,
let's give ourselves
Ryanair
some more.
4 Delta Mike on stand 53 with information Delta, Echo, sorry, request IFR
While we're
clearance
doing
to
this, I'm going
Edinburgh.
to put this on the radio check channel. We'll go back to the normal channels later. We want the zero fuel weight. Zero fuel weight 58.3. 58.3. And we're not going to worry too much about being super accurate today. We just want to go and take the aeroplane for a fly, really. So if we go through the init pages, we've got that done. If we go into the flight plan, we can see we've got a discontinuity obviously in the middle of the flight plan at the moment. Okay, departure from Stansted will be runway 04 and we're going to be using the Detling 2 Delta. There it is. And insert that. That's all looking good. So then on our arrival into the other end, Frankfurt, 25 right and the IMC 01A. So 25 right. And we want Zulu, which is the longest one, which will go out towards the end of the Ouch, and IMC 01A, there it is. Insert that in. So we've just got the routing in the middle now. So if we click on Detling, we can go to airways that leave Detling, and if we go and look at our flight plan here, from Detling we go L6 to DVR. So via L6 to Dover DVR. Then we go, I'll get the tab order correct in a moment, UL9 to Conan. So UL9 to KONAN. And then following that we go UL607 to SPI. UL607 to SPI. If you're wondering why I'm not importing this, I think there's a lot of value in learning how to do this sort of thing. And then T180 to NIVNU. We're nearly there. T180 to NIVNU. NIVNU. And then T874 to IMCOM, which joins onto the star. T847 to IMCOM. T847 to IMCOM. IMCOM. And drop that in. And then insert all of that in. And if we scroll through, we should find we have no discontinuities because it all knits up neatly. That looks great. So if we go flight plan, we can do a gross flight plan check. We might as well do all these things. Oh, we can't yet. Not until the IRS is in alignment. That will take 1 minute. So TCAS is on standby at the moment. So we'll go and turn this on. We'll put this on TA only. We shouldn't really use this until we get on the runway, but we'll have a play with it. Can we get some different views here easily? If I just search and go like this, and this is what I wanted to see, what some of these settings were. No, that's fine. Okay. So yeah, I'm looking at the live stream comments. I know there's an awful lot more you can do in this aeroplane. I'm just kind of scratching the surface this evening. Otherwise, we'd be here all night if I start explaining everything you can do. And there's a lot that I don't know you can do, if that makes sense. I do know quite a bit about the Airbuses because I've flown lots of different ones. I know like all the custom programming you can do for routes and things with offsets and radials and all the rest of it. But yeah, it's good fun. Okay. So we've done the basics. We need to go and do the performance data. So we need to go and pick up the numbers from the takeoff calculator. See, now we've got the basics in of the routing. It picks that up and does the calculations. So we can say compute, and it draws us a nice diagram of the runway. And we can say, so it's flaps 1 for takeoff. V1 is, so 145, 145, 147. We'll do that first. 145, 145, 147. They're almost the same as each other, aren't they? Flaps was +1 and up 0.1 on the THS. So 1/up 0.1. 1/up 0.1. Drop that in. And then flex temp was 73. And next phase. Next phase, can leave that as it is. Obviously we'll do that when we're in the flight later on. So basic routing is done. You can see the VNAV calculations have all happened. So as you scroll through, you can see it climbing up through the flight levels along the way, but we'll follow guidance from ATC anyway. And we can bring the range down on the navigation display. Cool. So flight directors are on, which is quite a surprise. We do need to set the barometric pressure, so we'll go and look that up. Should we use Navigraph just to show that you can do it here as well? So if we go information for Stansted, open the airport, go to the weather, 1002. and it probably won't be synced, so we'll need to go and look across to the other side. What's that done? Okay, so we've got the basics done. We can go and get the APU switched on now. Could have done this earlier. So wait for the APU to come up. We can watch the status of that happening on the eCam screens. So you can see it happening here, look. It takes a few seconds for it to kick in. So if we press Shift and 4, we'll see some heat pouring out in a moment. There you go, look, we're getting a heat haze forming behind the aeroplane. So it's going to jump back inside. How are we doing? It's getting there. It will light up with the voltage in a moment when it gets to 100 on the N%. There we go. So we can press APU again to clear that out, and this will go back to, it will switch modes as it needs to. So we're going to ask for pushback and engine start, but before we do that, we're going to go over to, we can do it via the tablet actually. We've got AviTab in here, and inside AviTab we should find famous last words. Oh, maybe we don't. So we have to go to plugins, better pushback, and pre-plan the pushback. So that's actually correct, look, that's fine. So we'll accept that plan.
Cockpit. Plan acknowledged, call me through the menu when you're ready.
So we'll go into here, go to better pushback and say, actually we don't want to start yet, we need to ask first from air traffic services, don't we? So we go and connect the radio back to ground. Stansted ground. Virtual 073 requesting pushback and engine start.
Virtual 073, pushback and engine start approved. Face northwest.
Ground to cockpit. Tow is driving up.
So if we go and watch this from outside, you'll see the tow truck is going to be smashing through all of the baggage trucks. We need to get rid of the trucks as well. So let's go and do that quickly.
Northwest. Air France 099.
Barcelona, via the NISBA 1R departure runway 22, initial climb to 4,000 feet.
Some doors are still opened where the GPU or the ASU are still connected. I'm waiting for all of them closed and disconnected, then I will proceed.
67 Oscar Charlie, read back correct.
And we can get rid of the external power. So that would have switched over now to the let's have a look from outside. So all the doors should be shut now. Oh, we're waiting on a door at the back. Let's go and check the doors. So we did close, 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 and close.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed, ready to connect.
So if we go and watch this from outside, we'll see the truck connect to the aeroplane. It's a bit windy, isn't it? So just waiting for them to do their job. You can see, look, the nose is lifting. Can you see that? We're being lifted off the floor by the truck.
Auto connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
That's that done.
Starting pushback, and you may start engines.
So, beacon light on, APU bleed on, ignition on, engine number 2. Oh, you'll see it's spooling up. Notice nose wheel steering is disconnected while the pushback is happening.
Stansted ground, Golf Mike India Oscar Papa, command straight 250, parked at gate 45 Lima with information Bravo, request clearance VFR to East Midlands Airport. Hold position, runway 22, after departure clear to leave the controlled airspace via Berners Lake, not above 2,000 feet VFR, QNH 1013 and Squawk 2664, Golf Oscar Papa.
Golf Oscar Papa, read back correct.
Stansted ground, Golf Mike India Oscar Papa, command straight 250, parked at gate 45 Lima, request engine start.
So parking brake is back on.
Disconnecting tow, stand by.
So waiting for this to come up to speed. 66%. And there it goes, available, so we can now start the other engine. We should have some hydraulics by now, so we can set flaps to 1 as well. I think they're electric actually. So engine's coming up, we can send the disconnect signal to the truck. And we can go do predictive wind shear. So we can follow the messages on the eCam screen now pretty much.
Shell is disconnected and bypass pin has been removed. Hand signal on the left. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you very much. So let's go and put the flight plan on the other screen as well. Actually, has we got a progress button on this one? I can't remember. No. Does the pull-out tablet work? It does. We get our lunch table. How do we put it back away? That's the question. Oh, there we go. So the relay's just kicked in to take the power over to the engines. And we're showing available. And we're not running the fuel pumps, are we? Let's go and put the boost pumps on.
Good afternoon, Stansted ground, Ryanair 417 with you, ready for pushback and start.
Okay.
Ryanair 417.
So ignition can go back to normal. And then
Pushback and start approved.
APU bleed can come off. APU can be switched off. We can get the taxi lights on. And then we can go and ask for taxi to runway 04. Stansted ground, virtual 073 requesting taxi to runway 04. And let's go and have a look at the chart in Navigraph.
Virtual 073, runway 04, taxi via Charlie West, Charlie Hotel.
Taxi via Charlie West, Charlie Hotel, virtual 073. So it's just hotel all the way basically. We want to go like that, don't we? There we go. I'm still not great at using the head tracker with say intentions. Okay, why are we not rolling? Oh, we are. I've got a few control issues I need to iron out still. So they wanted us to go through here and then turn left. It's very dark out there, isn't it?
Switching to tower, Eurowings 149er.
Eurowings 149er. Contact tower on 123.805. Take care.
123.805, Eurowings 149er.
So do the auto brakes while we're on our way. Arm the spoilers. I wonder what the flyby view looks like if you're taxiing. Not bad actually.
Ground Blue Max for Foxtrot Zulu, read taxi.
Blue Max 44 Foxtrot Zulu, start approach.
Ground Blue Max 44 Foxtrot Zulu, ready to taxi. Stansted ground Blue Max 44 Foxtrot Zulu, ready to taxi.
Virtual 073, contact tower on 123.805, safe flight.
Contacting tower 123.805, virtual 073. So we'll just get our aeroplane straightened up on the holding point and then we'll switch radio frequencies. Parking brake on. Same intentions we want, don't we? Let's go and switch over to the tower then, which should be 123.805, and there it is. Stansted Tower, virtual 073, holding short runway 04 for departure as filed to Frankfurt. Should we go and do the takeoff test?
Virtual 73,
and it's normal.
Stansted Tower, runway 04, wind 060 at 13, cleared for takeoff.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 04, virtual 073. It's done the same trick, hasn't it, with the parking brakes. They haven't come off. There they go. It's the same control issue. And we want strobes are on auto, but we can switch them on. Ooh, there's a bug in the airport, look. The lights are in slightly the wrong places. Okay, let's sort ourselves out before we go.
Ryanair 42 Echo Zulu, contact departure on 120.62 Tom.
Just making a quick check around, make sure everything's in the right places. And it looks like
120.625 Ryanair 42 Echo Zulu.
So, throttles to toga. Keep an eye on the indicated airspeed. Clear up. Autopilot on, auto throttles on. Leave it in toga for a few moments. Back to the climb detent.
Virtual 073, contact departure on 120.625.
Contacting departure 126.625, virtual 073. Departures, virtual 073 with you departing runway 04, climbing to 4,000 feet on the standard instrument departure.
Virtual 73, Stansted radar identified.
It's an interesting SID, isn't it? It's a really steep, slow turn on purpose out of the airport. Must be for noise abatement, I guess. To not get too fast, let's turn the head tracking off for a bit. Must be to do with noise abatement. So let's go and turn the TARA on now. On the TCAS.
Virtual 73, Stansted radar, climb flight level 210.
Climb flight level 210, virtual 073. So they're taking us basically straight off the departure plan. So we're accelerating now. So we leave it in flaps 1 for the moment. We're still in climb, remember. And we just keep an eye on the indicated airspeed ribbon to lift the flaps now. Okay, so we don't need the spoilers armed anymore. Seatbelt signs are on, landing lights still on. We're only at 4,500 feet though, they stay on until 10,000. We're on our way. About to come through the transition altitude in a moment though. So you'll see that start flashing when we get to 6,000 feet. I'm presuming that's set in the MCDU from the location when you program the flight. That'd be interesting to have a look at. But it is interesting, isn't it? If you've flown the Phoenix or Phoenix Airbus, then you will know how this works. So let's see if the box appears around the QNH as we get through 6,000. Oh, it starts flashing instead, okay. What's that done? So yeah, the Airbus is the kind of the high fidelity, if you want to call it that. Airbuses in the simulators are so similar to each other, it's almost funny.
Virtual 073, climb flight level 260.
Climbing flight level 260, virtual 073. Should we have a look outside? It's a bit dark out there, isn't it?
Lavatories are now available for your use. You may also use approved electronic devices in flight mode. Cabin service will begin shortly, so please sit back and relax. Thank you.
So we come to 10,000 feet.
4,000 feet.
Easy 651, Stansted radar identified.
Easy 3 Papa Juliet, passing flight level 2,700.
Easy 3 Papa Juliet, Stansted radar identified. Climb 4,000.
Okay, that's pretty much us done. So let's go and increase the range on the navigation displays out to a sensible amount, so 60 miles or 80 miles.
073, contact London Control on 128.43.
Contacting London Control 128.43, virtual 073. London Control, virtual 073 with you climbing to flight level 260.
London Control identified. Good evening.
Okay, we're on our way to Frankfurt. So I'm going to go grab a coffee in a moment, but I'm going to go and ask our wonderful co-pilot to take over radio comms on the way. Hi Amanda, can you take over radio communications for us? What happened? We lost the autopilot. Did I? Oh, I pressed the button.
Sure, I'll take over the radio communications.
And it will have wobbled the joystick enough. The button is on the joystick for the radio, so it wobbled it enough to kill the autopilot. That was fascinating. So Amanda will take care now, en route, of looking after the handovers. We can also ask the cabin. Hi cabin. Oh, that's what's going on. It's the buttons.
Hello, Captain Jonathan. Everything is going smoothly in the cabin.
Okay.
I'll be ready to assist with anything you need shortly.
It's the radio. There must be some double functions on those buttons. So the buttons I'm using to communicate with, say, intentions for the cabin crew is disconnecting the autopilot. Should we go and have a look at that in the settings? I'm sure it won't hurt it. So if we go into, this is a bit of a show of how X-Plane works. So we've got, we can search keys. So I'm going to search, oh, you can't do that one, okay. Oh no, we want joysticks, sorry. So we want to look for the pilot stick. And if I press the buttons, it lights up. Look, yeah, it's doing trim, which will kick out the autopilot.
Sure, I'll take over the radio communications.
So we want nothing. Can we just get rid of it? Can we just say nothing? This is going to completely fox me now, isn't it, as to how you remove it. Cancel. Really? Are they going to make it that difficult to say do nothing?
Oh, understood, Captain. Everything is going smoothly up here in the cabin. Let me know if you need anything else.
There we go. Do nothing is actually a choice. That's nice and obvious, isn't it? So trim up, edit, do nothing. Apply. It kind of makes sense. Can we get some coffee in the flight deck, please?
Absolutely, Captain. I'll bring some coffee to the flight deck right away.
Delta 5128, we're with you. Climbing to 6,000.
Delta Boeing 787, London Control I am not seeing your transponder. Confirm squawking 4742 mode C. Ident one more time for me.
That's not us, we're 5527.
1828 at 4,000. Requesting the IFR clearance to Nice.
Jet 28, London Control clear tonight. Direct KTS 12. Then add file, squawk 2123 and
It's interesting, we're still at 250 knots. It's all managed mode, but let's go and have a look at the flight plan.
Virtual 073, climb flight level 350.
So Amanda
flight
will...
level 350, virtual 73.
See, Amanda responded, but we have to do it. So we've just set the target for the VNAV. Well, it's not VNAV, we're doing an open climb. So it's reflected up here. So we've got throttle is in climb mode, we're doing an open climb, we've got navigation mode on, which is lateral navigation, using managed mode, and the autopilot 1 is in operation, flight directors 1 and 2 are on, and the auto throttle is on. Tells you everything you need to know. It's good, isn't it? I don't think I've got... Oh, it is working. Okay, so terrain radar's working. That's cool, isn't it? Don't really need it. I suppose it might be useful for people to have some view of where we are. So we're just passing the Detling VOR. So the real selling point of the I think it's ToLiss, not ToLiss, but the this version of the A320 or the A320 family in X-Plane is they have the Airbus badge, the official Airbus Industries badge on them. They are that accurate. So when it gets into playing silly games with failures, you can go really crazy with it. So you can add faults. So like if we were to add a fault, we can select areas of the aeroplane. So say we wanted a hydraulic fault and we wanted a particular thing to leak at a given time in the flight, you can do that. So you can go crazy with training scenarios.
131, speed bird 366 away.
Just turning over Detling.
Speed bird 366, passing through flight level 2,000 for 15,000.
Should put the lighting on the floor as well.
Flight level 150.
Then flight level 150, speed bird 366.
But yeah, so all of the systems behind, like the hydraulics and the electrical systems, it all works properly. So you'll notice, look, all of the breakers work. And I do mean, oh, actually I say that, look, the back wall doesn't work, but the ones overhead work. Oh, no, yeah, the whole collections of the lower ones then do work. So all these systems, look, you can simulate pulling the breakers on them to see what happens. I'm obviously not going to do that, but there's a really lovely video actually. I don't think this model of the Airbus has got it. But if you get the sensor, if you do a failure of the sensors on the nose and you lose indicated airspeed sensors, you get a disparity between the two sides of the aeroplane and between the inertial navigation system and the air data system. So in some models you get a button you can press, and I don't think it's in this version, where it can use the angle of attack of the aeroplane to calculate the speed, but the indicated airspeed ribbon just disappears and it replaces it with a coloured bar chart. So it's kind of like last chance saloon of knowing how fast you're going. It's very clever. So flight level 280 and climbing. So I'm going to go make a coffee. I'll leave the view of the instruments for everybody to enjoy along the way. And we
341 climb and maintain flight level 220.
Should be able to see, look, so in about an hour we'll arrive at Frankfurt. So it's not a very long flight at all.
Climb and maintain flight level 220.
341 trying to use a flight level 220.
Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes.
Descending to flight level 0700. 0, Delta 5128.
Delta 5128, contact Amsterdam radar on 118.805.
Amsterdam radar, Delta 5128, we're with you. Descending to flight level 07000. Descending to 070, Delta 5128.
5073. Contact Brussels Control on 129.575.
Switching to Brussels Control on 129.575. Virtual 73. Brussels Control, Virtual 73, evening. Climbing to flight level 350 for flight level 350.
Virtual 73, Brussels Control, identified. Good evening.
Dear guests, we are now at cruising altitude, and the cabin crew will begin the snack and beverage service shortly. Today we have some lovely options from our menu, including our popular cheese rolls and refreshing tulip water. After the service, we will also have selected items from the virtual airline shop available for you to browse. Thank you for your attention, and we hope you enjoy your flight.
Okay, I'm back. So I'm just going to remove my message saying I'll be back in a few minutes. So where are we? How are we doing? We're up at flight level 350. Was that our eventual cruise altitude, or are they asking us to go higher? No, that's fine. Oh, did Amanda do that for us? Interesting. So we are still tuned to centre. No messages on the eCam screen. We can turn the seatbelt signs off now, let people go and race to the toilets. It always makes me laugh whenever I go on a flight with work, or when I used to before the pandemic happened and nobody flew anywhere anymore. It always used to make...
313, contact Amsterdam radar on 120.555.
If you're ever wondering what these are, this is the direction to VOR beacons. So they're both pointing at the moment to the cock VOR. So as you're flying along, as a safeguard, in case the GPS fails, the systems are always looking to tune into the next or last VOR, whichever's in range. So if you get VORs along the route, the system will be automatically tuning to them.
Brussels Control. Expect the IMCO 1 Alpha arrival. Plan for descent in maybe 20 minutes. Notify if you're ready to descend before that.
Oh, of course, Amanda's going to come back, isn't she?
Expecting the IMCO 1 Alpha arrival. We'll plan for descent in about 20 minutes. We'll notify if ready to descend sooner. Virtual 73.
This is why you can turn on the display of the stations. So in the event of the GPS failing and you had to go and switch over to VOR navigation, then obviously it's showing you the nearest VORs all the time, and it will be triangulating the whole time to essentially just take over from GPS signaling to triangulating and doing the maths on the fly of where are we. And there's actually a third system as well. So obviously it can use GPS, it can use triangulation with VORs, but it's also got inertial reference. So it's measuring the acceleration of the aeroplane all the time. So every few seconds it balances out what it's seeing on the other systems against the inertial reference system as well. There's a fascinating documentary, I think it's on YouTube actually, about the development of the Apollo guidance computer, and it was wired up to the first, well, I think it's the first proper operational inertial reference system, and Apollo had it. It was about the size of a briefcase. and it was, fantastically accurate at measuring accelerations. So obviously, if you keep adding the accelerations together, you can keep track of the direction you're traveling. Rotations, accelerations. But yeah, there's a fascinating documentary on YouTube, if you can find it, about the development of the inertial navigation system for the Apollo guidance computer.
295, requesting descent. I'm happy with whatever altitude you decide to give me. Roger, but I've just reached top of descent, so I'm going to need descent if possible.
Corsica 295, say requested altitude.
It's interesting, isn't it? There's a lot of people are taking up this hobby of flying the simulators, and they could. I mean, I will admit, I have my poor moments when I have a particular lack of talent of saying the right thing, but I think it would do some people some good to go and read the radio telephony handbooks, either the FAA ones or the UK Aviation Authority ones, because they are free. Well, certainly in the UK, the text is free. I think it is in the US as well. And it goes through bit by bit, expected radio telephony language. It's not complicated. And most of it comes from the early days when radio signals were very poor, or in, built-up airspaces, where you had to communicate clearly and quickly. There you go, look, it's just switched over to the VOR ahead of us. Or it looks like it's gone for Bub. You can see them switching, look. So one of them's pointing. This one's gone for the CIV, so it's pointing at that one. This one's pointing at that one. And it obviously can do the triangulation maths between the two to figure out where the aeroplane is at all times.
Hey, Captain Jonathan, First Officer Amanda. Would you like anything to drink or a small snack? No cookie in the cup this time, promise.
I don't know, I'll just ask Amanda. Hi Amanda, what would you like to drink?
Understood, Captain. I'll be here if you need anything.
I'm good, thanks. Let's focus on the flight.
You're not very talkative, are you?
73, Brussels control, holding at flight level 350, anticipating IMCO 1 Alpha arrival.
Just focused on the flight, Jonathan. Let me know if you need anything specific.
So where's our top of descent? If we zoom out a bit, we'll see the marker on the
descent flight level 150.
There it is.
Control, Silver Romeo Delta.
So what we can also do is turn the constraints on, because on descent we'll need to know about them. Yeah, it's going to get a bit jumbled, but when we get closer to the top of descent, and let's go and turn that terrain radar off. Germany's pretty flat, or this end of Germany is anyway. Okay. This could do with brightening up a bit, couldn't it? And the other one. So I've not really delved around too much in this yet to see what's in here. So if we go into ATSU, what can we do? Can we get a weather report? AOC, weather. We'll go for a forecast, please. Or do we have to do METAR? Oh, is it actually not going to allow us to do it? Can we do ATIS? Oh, maybe it's not implemented. That's interesting. Oh, that's a shame if it won't do that. The fly-by-wire can do it, and that's free. This one costs quite a considerable amount of money. Bacon sandwiches cheer everybody up. Just replying to the live stream comment there. Okay, so before we get too close to our destination, let's go and put the performance data in for the destination. Can we refresh this? If we just go airports again and go Frankfurt and weather. So we need to go into the performance pages of the MCDU. Go next phase. QNH at Frankfurt is 1009. Temperature on the ground, 10 degrees centigrade. Wind is 10 degrees, sorry, what am I talking about? Variable, 1 knot. So we just put in 0/1. So there's hardly any wind at Frankfurt, which is in contrast to the UK where it was awful. So then we got the baro or radio. So we can go and look at the ILS chart for Frankfurt, and we can see 200 foot here. Look, yeah, that's fine then, and that's on radio obviously. If you went by a baro, it's the higher number. So that's that done. Go back to flight plan. I was just going to go and have a look at the standard terminal arrival route, or STAR, to see what the constraints look like. So you can see we're hurtling along over here towards the STAR, and it's an interesting one. Look, it goes all the way out over here, then we turn around and come back. But yeah, between flight level 240 and so 24,000 feet and 21,000 feet at IMCOM. And then it follows down 13,000 and 11,000 at Ramob, same at DF401, and then you're into the approach. So where there's no plan here, that basically means you fly off the end and ATC will give you vectors, but if there's no traffic around, they may direct us straight in. So we may only get, sort of this far, and they'll tell us to turn for the ILS. Depends if there's much traffic around. I'm thinking of a different model of Airbus. Some of the Airbuses have another radio, like a backup radio up in the top corner of the overhead panels. Was that lightning? I think it might have been. Okay, not far to go. 40 miles to top of descent. So we're going to shortly go and turn the passenger seatbelt sign back on. Can you tell the passengers that we are going to be starting to descend soon, so if they want to go to the bathroom, now is their last chance.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is your friendly flight attendant speaking. We wanted to let you know that we will be starting our descent soon, so if you need to use the lavatory, now is your last chance. Thank you.
Sudden thunder of feet as everybody unbalances the aeroplane racing for the toilets. So here's a question for anybody watching the live stream. What's a good flight simulator to install on an iPad? So I know X-Plane is available for the iPad, and I know there are various other ones, but I've never used any of them. But I thought I might put one on my iPad for the moments, you know, when I'm either stuck on trains or whatever it happens to be. So I know there is Aerofly FS, which seems to be not very popular. There's Infinite Flight, which seems to be very popular. There's various rip-off programs that people have made that are not what they claim to be. And there's RFS, Real Flight Simulator, as well. I've not tried any of them. I presume X-Plane's going to work pretty much like the full version. Okay, let's go and put the seatbelt sign back on. "20 miles from top of descent." So we can go and set the target already. We're just not going to tell the airplane how to get there. So our first target is going to be about 21,000 feet, isn't it? Should we tell Amanda that we'll do radio comms now as well? Hi Amanda, we'll do radio comms now.
Okay, Jonathan, you're in charge of the radio comms now.
Okay, so I've set the altitude, but we're not descending just yet. We'll let the ground know when we start descending, or let Centre know, I should say. So what's the name? In order to communicate accurately, we need to know the name of the procedure, which I haven't got on a bit of paper. Normally the crew obviously have the operational flight plan in front of them. It's the IMC-01A, or no, IMCO 1 Alpha. That's an O, not a 0. IMCO 1 Alpha arrival. Okay. And we are talking to Brussels. Brussels Control, Virtual 073, beginning descent on the IMCO 1 Alpha, arrival into Frankfurt. So we'll go managed mode. It should go to 1,000 feet a minute.
Cleared IMCO 1 Alpha into Frankfurt. When you're ready, descend flight level 260.
They're only letting us down to 260. Descending flight level 260 on the IMCO 1 Alpha, arrival into Frankfurt, Virtual 073. So we've got flight level 260 programmed in. Aeroplane is going at 1,000 feet a minute at the moment because it has not crossed past the top of descent. So it's left behind the little profile marker and it will catch up and then it will go steeper. Having said that, look, it's going steeper now, which is interesting.
Ladies and gentlemen,
it was catching up, look, that's why.
And are beginning our approach to Frankfurt. Please return to your seats, stow your tray tables, and fasten your seatbelts. The use of the lavatories is no longer permitted at this time. Thank you for your cooperation.
Coastal Control, good day, we set 2 Papa Mike, flight level 310. With that, Papa Mike.
Okay, so we just watch the aeroplane descend basically. So if we go and have a little look on the map and see where we are. Just coming in. I think we're being pelted with rain out there, aren't we? Can we turn on weather radar?
Virtual 073, contact Langen radar on 125.6.
Contacting Langen radar 125.6, virtual 073, good day. Langen radar, virtual 073 with you, descending on the IMCO 1 Alpha approach into Frankfurt.
Virtual 73, Langen radar identified. Good evening.
Virtual 073 requesting lower.
Virtual 073, say requested altitude.
11,000 feet, virtual 073. This will be interesting because we've fallen behind the profile. We're going to throw the spoilers out, which will allow us to descend very quickly. Because we're playing catch up with the profile. Because look, we need to be...
Virtual 073, descend flight level 220.
Descending flight level 220, virtual 073. We're being thrown around by rain and all kinds of rubbish out there. We've got a 30 knot crosswind. The weather isn't as good as we thought, is it? The aeroplane's being buffeted around. You can see the artificial horizon moving. Catching back up with the profile, so let's carry on down. Out the front. Should we turn these? The reflections aren't very good, so I'm inclined to turn them off. You can do them in here, can't you, somewhere?
Beach Lima, Kilo, Squawk 4451, and ident. Beach Lima, Kilo, identified.
That's better.
Good afternoon, radar level 2862, flight level 280 to flight level 370.
So we're back on the profile now. got slightly longer range on the co-pilot side. Coming down to 18,000, let's go and check the charts and see what the transition altitude is. 5,000 feet. At which point we will need to go to... let's go and have a look again, just make sure it's still the same. If we open up the information for Frankfurt and open the airport, go to the weather.
Virtual 073, descend flight level 116, turn left, heading 080, vectors for the ILS runway 25, right approach.
Yeah, they're not making us do the whole track. So let's read that back to him. Descending flight level 116, turn left, heading 080, vectors for the ILS runway 25, right approach, virtual 073. So we're going selected heading mode, we're going turn left heading 080, and that's not left. Oh, maybe it is. And descend flight level 116, so 11,600 feet. That's a bit exact, isn't it? And we'll do an open descent, seeing as we're vectoring. We're not on the standard terminal arrival route anymore. So what are they doing to us? Let's have a look on the map. They're squaring it off. They're going to take us out here and then bring us straight in. So rather than...
073, contact Frankfurt approach on 118.505.
Contacting Frankfurt approach 118.505, virtual 073. Frankfurt approach, virtual 073 with you, descending to 11,600 feet on vectors of 080 degrees.
Virtual 73, Frankfurt approach identified. Good evening, expect the ILS Yankee runway 25 right approach into Frankfurt.
Expecting the ILS Yankee 25 right approach into Frankfurt, virtual 073. Let's just make sure that's what we've got. So we're going to go into the flight plan. Arrival, ILS Yankee 25 right, insert. So where does 25 right Yankee begin? Show arrival procedures. Whoa, 25 left, Yankee 25 right, there it is. Insert. So it begins at DF480, which is kind of what they're doing. Look, they're going to tell us to turn. So we'll continue on the heading we've got, but we know we're probably going for DF480, which is way down the track. There it is. So we'll leave that on the screen because they're probably going to do a direct 2 on it.
Virtual 073, descend flight level 080.
Descending flight level 080, virtual 073. Okay, let's go and put the landing lights on. We're going to be coming down through 10,000 feet in a moment anyway. So the airplane wants to
Leipzig IS-378, cleared DF426, runway 25 right.
Obviously we need to get to 250 knots to get through 10,000 feet.
Delta Foxtrot 426, runway 25 right, Leipzig.
So just throwing the spoilers out, that's why you can hear the rumbling.
Proceed direct, Delta Foxtrot 480, cleared for ILS, runway 25 right, approach, speed below 220 knots, under established Leipzig 37.
So there's the airport, there's 480.
Lufthansa 8 uniform, Charlie, climb flight level 230.
Ladies and gentlemen, we are now beginning our final approach into Frankfurt. Please turn off your electronic devices and stow them until we arrive at the gate. Kindly put your tray tables away and ensure your seats are in their full upright position. Also, please fasten your seatbelts. Our assigned gate is Terminal 2, C15S. Thank you for your cooperation.
Okay, we should be able to go. I'm just looking at the speeds. Oh no, it's 230 knots for flaps 1. We're going a bit too fast for that. So this happens quite commonly with say intentions. If there's not any traffic around, obviously there's no traffic around with X-Plane, they won't make you go and do a long-winded star and approach. They'll bring you straight in.
Turn right heading 105.
Turning right heading 105, virtual 073. Shall we turn the head tracking on now? It's fairly clear over the city. Shall we look from outside? Doesn't render very well in the dark, does it? So there's the airport, look. Descending flight level 070, virtual 073. I'm going to turn head tracking off. We need to be able to respond quickly. Obviously now we're not doing the normal route, we also need to take control of speed, so I'm going to bring it down to 220. Which will allow us to get flaps out as well, and then we can start crow braking, essentially using spoilers and flaps, because this is going to be coming in quite quickly. There we go. So then we'll bring the range down. Because we programmed the approach into here, we should have the correct 10975 246 degrees. So let's go double check that just before we get there. ILS 109. Oh, that's a different one, isn't it? We're doing 25 right Yankee, wasn't it? Interesting. So who do we believe?
Climb to flight level 110, direct Delta Foxtrot 101, then on navigation Lufthansa 9 Alpha Lima.
Just going back
Lufthansa Nina Alpha Lima, climb flight level 230.
25 right.
Climb flight level
I don't think that's right.
230, Lufthansa 9 Alpha Lima.
Lufthansa 9 Alpha Lima, contact Langenradar on 127.5.
25 right. Oh, we'll trust it. It's just warning us the speed brakes were still in. Does LittleNavMap agree with it? 1115246. No.
Virtual 073, turn left heading 065.
Turning left 065, virtual 073. So basically putting us on a mini racetrack. I'm going to change the frequency 11135. I was expecting it to have done it for us. 25 right, that's correct. 11135 on the chart, so
Virtual 073, 4 miles from Delta Foxtrot 480. Turn right heading 190, descend flight level 050 until established on the localizer. Cleared for the ILS runway 25 right approach.
turning right heading 190 degrees. Descending flight level 050 until established on localizer. Cleared runway ILS 25 right approach, virtual 073. 190 they want us on, so just squaring the corner off and descending 5,000 feet.
Frankfurt departure, good morning, this is Lufthansa 158.
Lufthansa 158, Frankfurt departure identified. Climb flight level 200.
Climb to flight
So
level
we can go
200,
flaps to below 200 knots. Now we're at the runways. We're going to overshoot. It's fine, we're far enough out to correct it. So we can put the gear down soon. Let's get down to 160 knots. There's the runway. And we'll go approach mode. So the airplane's going to take over. We haven't got a glide slope yet, but neither would we expect to have one at this distance. Let's go and put the other autopilot on simultaneously, which you can do with ILS. Coming down to 5,000, we've got to go and do the barometric pressure as well, so it was 1009, wasn't it?
Virtual 073, contact Frankfurt Tower on 136.5.
Contacting Frankfurt Tower 136.5, virtual 073. Frankfurt Tower, virtual 073 with you, 5,000 feet, engaged on the localizer for runway 25 right. Here comes the glide slope. We can go for...
Virtual 73, Frankfurt Tower, Gouda, identified, runway 25 right, ILS approach.
And we can get the gear down.
Lufthansa 510, welcome to Frankfurt. Contact ground on 121.805.
Ground 121.805, Lufthansa 510, thank you, fine.
Lufthansa 182, contact departure on 118.505.
So, this is all good fun. I hate autopilots doing landings, so I'm going to take over. We are in charge. Let's give the wings a wobble to prove it. Does the stick move, by the way? Yes, it does. Okay, so it's up to us to follow the glide slope. So let's go left a bit. Let's bring the speed down to... we want about 140, don't we? It does take a bit of getting used to flying the ToLiss Airbuses because they behave like the real thing. So you're not really flying an airplane, you're directing a computer. So you give it slight adjustments and you let the airplane stabilize itself in the direction you've pointed it. You're really you're moving kind of a flight director around for the guidance system. We're a little bit high. The nighttime rendering. People go on about X-Plane nighttime rendering being great. I don't think it's as good as Flight Sim.
Lufthansa 422, contact departure on 118.505.
Switching to departure on 118.505, Lufthansa 422.
So we've got a 37 knot headwind. That's pretty impressive, isn't it? That's why we're not going very fast. So this is going to be stock Frankfurt. I have not got any add-ons for it. I'm pretty sure Orbex sell a version of Frankfurt along with obviously lots of other companies for X-Plane. Here comes the rain. So how accurate is Frankfurt? I used to know Frankfurt quite well because I worked there for a couple of years, on and off.
Virtual 73 Frankfurt Tower, winds calm, runway 25 right, cleared to land.
Clear to land, runway 25 right, virtual 073.
Virtual 073 Gouda. Confirm you are established on ILS runway 25 right for Frankfurt.
We are established, ILS runway 25 right for Frankfurt, virtual 073. Such a big airport, isn't it? So these big dark areas we can see around us, it's all forest. The whole airport's surrounded by forest. So the actual city is alongside the River Mine, a few miles back behind us now. It doesn't take long to get there. There's an ice train that goes quite regularly. We're going high, by the way. Let's get the nose down. Getting distracted going sightseeing. It's been a while since I've seen Frankfurt. So let's see if the Pappies line up with the glide slope. Looks like they do. So this is the railway station
1000
to get your train back to the city. I think this might be a... yeah, they've got a... Frankfurt must be one of the airfields that comes with it.
Contact departure on 118.505.
118.505, Lufthansa 9066.
Lufthansa 9006. Contact departure on 118.505.
118.505, Lufthansa 9006.
200 minimum.
That's interesting that the glide slope showing that we're high. It's getting, yeah, it's getting a little bit out of whack with the Pappies.
Glide slope 100 50 40 30 20 retard 10 5.
got a little bit squirrely, it can really
Virtual
stop.
073, welcome to Frankfurt. Contact ground on 121.805.
Contacting ground 121.805, virtual 073.
Now beginning our final approach into Frankfurt. Please turn off your electronic devices.
I think the timing's a bit wrong with that message.
Kindly put your tray tables away and ensure
So we'll hold here
upright position.
until we've got...
Our assigned gate
let me turn off the head tracking.
C15S. Thank you for your cooperation.
And strobes go back to auto. Oh. Yeah, that bug with the parking brake's a good one, isn't it? It released again then, look. Let's go contact ground then. Frankfurt ground, virtual 073, exiting runway 25 right, requesting taxi to the gate, please. So we're going to be over here somewhere. So we're going to go Papa.
Virtual 073, taxi to Terminal 2, Gate C15S via Papa 16, Papa, November 11, November Orange. Have a good day.
Gate C15 Sierra via Papa 16, Papa, November 11, November Orange. Have a good day. Okay, so let's break that down. We got Papa 16, that's where we are. Then Papa 1. Oh no, so Papa and then November 11. Yep, that's November 11. So we carry on. We double back, carry on straight along to November 11. November Orange. Yeah, that probably becomes more obvious when we get there. Okay. So all the way to the end, and then it kinks right. So yeah, we got a comment there in the live stream to use the auto brakes. I purposely didn't because I wanted to see what the brakes work like, because I've never flown it. I bought it a couple of days ago, and this is the first chance I've had to fly it. So that's why I went almost fully manual on the... I left the auto throttle on to see how it would behave. It was interesting. This is a nice version of the airport.
Frankfurt ground, good day. Ocean 802 request push and start, please.
Bypass pin inserted. Just let me know when you're ready to start the pushback.
Interesting. So this bridge goes across. I've actually done this taxiway in the real world. It is interesting. You taxi over the road. quite modelled that, have they? The road isn't low enough. Oh no, it does. It descends below, but the cars don't. They levitate and then disappear. Oh, that's a shame. So we're looking for, can anybody remember? This is November 11 at the end of here. November orange. So we'll hold in a moment. November 11, straight ahead. According to the sign, anyway.
KLM 195, push and start approved, face south.
So we're just coming into November.
I have already pushed and start. I'm ready for taxi. KLM 195.
So is orange one of these?
To runway 7 center by November 5, November 1, 6 Lima 21, KLM 195.
Let me go and just quickly pull up the parking chart before we go any further. So I always forget how to do this. Taxi chart overview. November 11, maybe it's ahead of us then. Parking stands. There's November 11. And they're not marked as colours. L November 11. Oh, well, I think we're going to have to wing it. It's not marked as said. Is there any signage for it? November 11 and Lima either side. Do you know what? I think we're going to have to make it up as we go along.
Lufthansa 1 Romeo Lima, contact tower on 136.5, Guten Flug.
Contact tower.
Oh, here it is.
136.5, Lufthansa 1 Romeo Lima.
So we need to go left.
Frankfurt ground, Lufthansa 32, request IFR clearance to Echo Delta Delta Kilo.
I'll grab that clearance. Give me just a minute.
I'm guessing it means any of these bays then on the left are orange. It was on the other chart, wasn't it? It's not obvious, so I'm just going to throw our aeroplane in over here. I've had enough of all the wild goose chase around the airport looking for somewhere good to park. Okay, so what can we do in terms of shutting down? Can we get a ground services, external power, switch it on, and then we can go overhead and switch over to external power, and then we can go and turn the engines off. I'll do that actually with my main controls. There's the relays switching over to external power, and then we can just go and switch things off. And ADIRs can come off. Crew supply can come off. We didn't do much else, did we, in terms of configuring anything up here? Let's get the lights off. So the switches aren't very easy. They're not very positive in terms of where you have to click them. Okay, so I'm not going to power it all the way down to cold and dark because there's no real point. We could disembark the passengers. Shall we disembark the passengers then? Just go and get the... so we want door 1
Ladies and gentlemen, we have now reached
open,
our final parking position.
passenger
Captain
stairs
Jonathan
on.
And the cabin crew are now saying goodbye. We wish you a nice stay here in Frankfurt or safe ongoing travel.
Condor to Alpha Echo. Frankfurt ground, taxi to gate 5, 113 via Papa 16, Papa, November 11, November Blue. Good day.
Okay, so if we press Shift and 4 now, we should find everything rolling into place around us and doors opening and trucks rolling up, and my word, they did that quickly. They're already on their way. So is that door going to open for them? It is indeed. So we haven't actually walked through the aeroplane, have I? Oops, I pressed the wrong button. Now can we walk through the aeroplane in the ToLiss version? Presumably we can. I'd have to play silly games with using the... yeah.
Frankfurt ground, Discover 1507, request pushback and start.
Discover 1507, pushback and start approved. Face southwest.
pretty well modelled, isn't it? It's not as good as Flight Sim, obviously, but it's not bad.
Requesting clearance to London Heathrow. Speedbird 818 requesting clearance to London Heathrow.
This is more by luck than judgment I'm managing to steer this thing, by the way. As you can see, I'm a bit rubbish at it. It's not like the drone camera in Flight Simulator at all. It's not that bad though. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for this evening. So that was the ToLiss Airbus A320 in X-Plane 12 with a flight over from Stansted to Frankfurt on a windy evening. We've got XP Realistic running in the background, which is making all the windy noises and stuff like that. So it makes it, supposedly makes it more authentic. You can see that it's been raining here. That's why the tyres were kicking up water supposedly on the way in. You can see there's puddles along the taxiways over there. It's one of the things that X-Plane 12 is quite good at. But yeah, lovely aeroplane, very predictable to fly, and there's obviously a lot more in it than I featured during this video, so you can obviously delve into all sorts of system failures and things like that, and it behaves just like the real thing apparently. So there we go. The ToLiss Airbus A320 in X-Plane 12. Right, I'm going to leave it there and I'll see you again soon. Hopefully you enjoyed that. Take care.